Good morning, church. Happy Feast of All Saints. I would like to begin by reading the Gospel for today. It's from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 5, verses 1 through 12. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he had sat down, his disciples came to him. He began to teach them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, they will inherit the land. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, they will be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven." Today, November 1st, we celebrate the Feast of All Saints. Who are the saints, and where are they now? When I was a young boy, the church taught me that saints were extraordinary examples of goodness, like St. Patrick or Mother Teresa, who are now far from us in heaven and enjoying the presence of God. On November 2nd, the Feast of All Souls, the Church taught us that the not-so-great ones were living in purgatory until they had paid the debt that they owe God. They were waiting for God to release them or for us to pray them out. Every year I spent All Souls Day running in and out of the church, saying the obligatory prayers that would get souls out of purgatory. I guess it did not matter whether God was ready to release them or not. My prayers would guarantee them the immediate joys of heaven. However, I now have a different understanding of what happens to us when we die. In the 1970s, I had a 6 o'clock early morning workers' mass for parishioners of our St. Mary Church in Houston. All those who wished would receive Holy Communion at the beginning of Mass because many had to leave for work before communion time. Sometimes all of them had to leave, and when the last one would smile and wave goodbye, I would say to my dad, "I guess it's just you and me, Pop." And we would finish the Mass together. My father died shortly before I was ordained a priest, but I always felt him by my side when I celebrated that morning Mass. He was not off in some distant location. He was right alongside me. In the 1990s, I directed a retreat center in Mississippi, and I went to visit a special group called the Spiritual Plumbers to see what they could offer to our retreatants. Some of them were gifted with the ability to see spirits. They offered me a 3-day experience of what they could offer. At the end of one healing session, the leader said to me, "Ask anyone you wish to come heal you, and they will come." I smiled and said, "Really? Anyone?" She said, "Yes." And they all left the room. Silently, I asked my mother and father to come heal me. By that time, my mother had joined my father in death. Immediately, I felt my mother's presence, and she began to stroke my brow. My father did not come, and I said, "I love you, Pop." And immediately, he was there also. I then called on my 2 brothers who had died as infants, and they came as well. All of them reached out with a healing touch. Later that evening, when we gathered for our evening meal, one of the spiritual plumbers seated next to me said that I had given her a great fright. I asked her how, and she said that she'd stayed behind when the others left and had tried to come over to me, but was blown back across the room. She said that 2 adult spirits and 2 child spirits had come to visit me. I said they were my parents and my 2 brothers. She said, "No, parents usually come together. These came separately." This person knew nothing of my family history, and this incident verified for me that she was not guessing, but that she really saw something. In the 1960s, when my sister married, the company that she worked for terminated her employment. Their policy was that a wife's place was in the home looking after her husband. And when she went to make arrangements to be married in the Catholic Church, the church told her that she and her husband would have to be married in the sacristy because they did not allow a non-Catholic husband to marry in the Catholic Church. The church taught us many things about God and the church and about heaven, hell, and purgatory that I believed to be gospel truth back then. But my own experiences in later life have given me a different awareness about life after death and how God treats us in the afterlife. I believe the Mexican Aztec Dia de los Muertos is closer to the real experience of life beyond the grave, and I do not have to wait until All Souls Day to experience how God differentiates between his children. Most of my family have now passed into eternal life, And I believe that when it is my time to die, I will find God and my family waiting to welcome me home. Happy All Saints' Day, everyone.